A swarm of unknown drones just paralyzed America's most secure nuclear bomber base. They are cheap, they are autonomous, and they are hunting in packs. Traditional air defenses were completely useless. The only thing standing between us and total asymmetric collapse is an invisible wall of weaponized energy. Welcome to the terrifying new reality of modern warfare. Stopping a swarm of 1,000 drones isn't something you can do with bullets or multi-million-dollar missiles. The math simply doesn't work. When our adversaries can print killer drones for a few $100 and overwhelm our radar screens, firing a $2 million Patriot missile is exactly what they want us to do. A Patriot battery only holds a handful of interceptors. Once they are gone, the base is completely defenseless against the next wave. We are bleeding money and losing the skies. We need a fundamental shift in physics. We need high-power microwaves. In March of 2026, the unimaginable happened. Barksdale Air Force Base in Louisiana, the very heart of America's nuclear bomber fleet, was forced to a grinding halt. Multiple waves of unauthorized drones penetrated the restricted airspace, lingering for hours over highly classified facilities. According to recently declassified reports, base security forces observed multiple waves of drones operating over the most sensitive nuclear command areas. Barksdale base leadership had to issue a frantic shelter-in-place order. This wasn't a group of confused hobbyists. These were sophisticated long-range systems probing our defenses right as Operation Epic Fury launched in the Middle East. And it wasn't the first time. Back in December 2023, Langley Air Force Base experienced a nearly identical siege for 17 consecutive nights. Our most advanced F-22 Raptors were grounded because military commanders were paralyzed. They had no safe, cost-effective way to blast dozens of drones out of the sky over domestic soil without raining shrapnel onto the base below. But the threat is evolving faster than anyone predicted. Across the battlefields of Eastern Europe, a new, utterly terrifying variant of suicide drone has emerged, the Prince Vandal. It doesn't use radio signals to fly. Instead, it unspools a physical, miles-long fiber-optic cable behind it as it hunts its target. Because there is no wireless connection, standard electronic warfare jammers are completely blind to it. You cannot jam a physical wire. They fly deep into trenches, unaffected by the heaviest electronic interference on Earth. The Pentagon realized they were facing a nightmare scenario. A swarm of unjammable fiber-optic drones attacking a nuclear facility. How do you stop something that cannot be jammed and is too numerous to shoot down? The answer lies in a highly classified system called the Epirus Leonidas, and how it literally fries the internal brains of these machines. I am going to show you the exact live-fire footage of this system in action in just a moment. But before we reveal how this microwave wall works, hit that subscribe button for Atlas Classified. We uncover the dark reality of modern military tech every single week, and your support keeps us investigating. So, what exactly is the Epirus Leonidas? It is not a laser. Lasers are pinpoint weapons. They have to heat up a target for several seconds to burn through the metal. In a massive swarm attack, lasers are simply too slow. Furthermore, lasers are heavily distorted by rain, fog, and dust. Instead, the Leonidas is a high-power microwave weapon, or HPM. Picture a massive, invisible cone of electromagnetic energy blasting out at the speed of light. When this wave of energy hits a drone, it doesn't burn the outside. It forces its way inside the drone's outer shell through microscopic gaps and antennas. In a fraction of a second, it induces massive voltage spikes inside the drone's printed circuit boards. It literally overloads the semiconductor microchips, causing irreversible dielectric breakdown and junction burnout. The drone's brain is permanently lobotomized, and it drops like a stone. And because it is completely software-defined, the Leonidas can actively steer its beam. It can create programmable no-fly zones that instantly destroy enemy drones while carving out safe corridors for our own friendly aircraft to operate in the exact same airspace. For decades, military microwaves were the size of shipping containers. Systems like the Air Force's Thor require massive logistical support and hours to assemble, but Epirus changed the game. They ripped out the old vacuum tubes and replaced them with solid-state gallium nitride power amplifiers. This leap in physics allowed them to shrink an entire high-power microwave system into a box that fits in the back of a standard pickup truck or a Stryker armored vehicle. It uses field-serviceable, line-replaceable amplifier modules. If a unit breaks down in combat, a soldier can swap out the module in under 8 minutes. But the military needed more range. Enter the IFPC HPM Generation 2. Unveiled after massive investment from the Department of Defense, this new iteration is a monster. It packs an 800-pound lithium polymer battery bank, allowing it to operate completely off the grid for 30 continuous minutes. Since a typical microwave burst only takes a few seconds to drop a swarm, 30 minutes is effectively an infinite magazine. It boasts 30% more power than the first generation and extends the kill zone out to nearly 2.5 kilometers. And remember those terrifying, unjammable fiber-optic drones we talked about? In December 2025, Epirus took the Leonidas to a government test site to face off against them. Since you can't sever their radio link, the Leonidas just bypassed the link entirely. It beamed its microwaves directly into the drone's internal electronics and induced a total hardware kill. It is the first known instance in history of a directed energy weapon defeating a fiber-optic drone. Which brings us to the most shocking part of this technology: the math. For decades, we have been shooting down $200 drones with $2 million missiles. The Leonidas runs on electricity. The cost per shot? Mere pennies. It completely reverses the economic warfare that adversaries are trying to wage against us. But surely our enemies are already building defenses, right? If microwaves fry electronics, why not just wrap the drone in a Faraday cage, a metal shield to block the radiation? Well, physics is a harsh mistress. If you fully encase a drone in a perfect Faraday cage, it blocks all signals. The drone goes blind. It can't receive GPS, it can't transmit video, it can't communicate. To fly, it has to expose an antenna or a sensor. And the moment it exposes an aperture, the microwaves force their way in through that front door vulnerability and cook the internals. Even if you use a fiber-optic wire and shield the rest of the drone, the heavy metal shielding adds massive weight. The drone becomes slow, sluggish, and its range is severely crippled. By simply deploying the Leonidas, we force the enemy to make their weapons worse just to survive. The military needed absolute proof this could handle a mass saturation attack. At Camp Atterbury in Indiana, defense officials watched as a swarm of 49 drones was launched simultaneously. A true worst-case scenario. The Leonidas activated its software-defined beamforming array. With a single, silent burst of electromagnetic energy, all 49 drones were instantly neutralized, a 100% defeat rate in the blink of an eye. The era of asymmetric drone swarms has forever changed the battlefield. But with invisible microwave walls guarding our skies, we are finally fighting back. The skies belong to whoever masters the electromagnetic spectrum. If you want to know more about the classified tech reshaping modern combat, you need to see our deep dive on the shadowy stealth bombers operating right now in the Middle East. Click the video on your screen right now to uncover the truth. Stay vigilant, and we will see you next time.